Thanks for joining us here on North Metro TV. Local Decision 2025 continues, and Matt Percy is in the studio now running for Circle Pines mayor unopposed. And of course, we know you from the city council. And Matt, thanks for stopping by. And let's tell the viewers why you're running and give them some deets about yourself.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks so much for having me, Eric. Appreciate it. I've been living in Circle Pines now for 22 years. My wife and I moved here. We've raised two sons that both went to Centennial schools all the way through. It's been a tremendous experience. After just a few months, you realize what is really special about Circle Pines and the fact that we've got great educational opportunities, we have so many parks and trails, and what we really have is a tremendous sense of community. And I really started to see that once I started getting out and talking to people when I was running for the council, and realized how much generational continuity that we have in the city. I mean, I've talked to people who have been in the city for 50 or 60 years. They're original members. And I've talked to people who have grown up in Circle Pines, moved away for a job or for school or whatever, and then they came back. And so Circle Pines is a place where people just want to stay. There's a lot of special community that is pulling them back in together, and that's important to me and to my family. And so yeah, it's been a great experience for us. And my time on the council, and hopefully if I'm elected mayor, the opportunities that are there to be able to help contribute to that community and make it an even better place, that's something that I'm really looking forward to.
Do you think that can be a seamless transition, given the fact you've been on the council now for a number of years?
Yeah, fortunately, for the last 14 years, I've had the opportunity to learn under one of the best, Mayor Dave Bartholomew. He's been there for 20 years now, and he's looking to move on to other opportunities and everything. But Dave obviously is tremendous for our community. He's contributed in so many different ways. I know that he was recently this year awarded the C.C. Ludwig Award, which is the top League of Minnesota Cities award for elected officials. And that's a recognition of how plugged in he is into the community. But not only is he good for the community and is he a good leader, but he's also a good teacher and a mentor. And he's always been willing to share what he does with me. And so I've tried to gobble that experience up as much as I can.
Yeah, he's really the perfect guy if you're around him to be a sponge, right? Just absorb it all, and then if you sit in that mayoral seat, then you can't be him, but you're going to be you. But you can probably, grab some things that you've learned over the years and help to make yourself a better mayor, right?
Yeah, that's right. I like to tell people, there's no way I can fill his shoes, but I'm at least going to try to bring some other shoes that are about that same size.
Tell me right now, what do you think is going well in Circle Pines as a city?
I think the really big things for us that have been super successful over the last 15 years have been our infrastructure improvements, our street reconstruction that we've been doing. And the reason why that's been successful is because we didn't try to do it all at once. We realized we've got a really big problem. It's going to take time to deal with it. Let's take this big problem, let's break it up into smaller chunks. We'll do 1.5 miles of roads every year. We'll replace the sewers. At the same time, try to make as much opportunity out of it as we can and try to be as efficient as possible. The pipes that we put in the ground, those things are rated to last for 100 years, so we won't have to do this in any of our lifetimes. And so the fact that we've been able to come to the conclusion of that project, I think is huge, and we were able to do it without having our tax rates spike because we stretched it out over time. So while our taxes do continue to go up, just like everybody else's, our cost curve is more like this rather than like that. And I think that's a huge benefit for our citizens, and one of the reasons why people like living in Circle Pines, because they've got that predictability.
Yeah, the tax bump, only 2%, which pales in comparison, as you said, to some other neighboring cities. So why has that been so low for Circle Pines? Is it just because of the way you've done business in the past?
Yeah, it really comes down to the planning. So what Mayor Dave and the council have done, as well as our city staff, our city administrator, Patrick Antonin, and the rest of our staff have done a tremendous job laying out for us, here's how we can make this happen without having those spikes that are going to really give people heartburn. And we have a really good relationship with our engineering firm, and basically our staff is really plugged into the community. They know what works, what doesn't work. It's really a well-oiled machine at this point, and being able to plan it out, long-term planning, rather than saying, what do we do this year? that's really what's allowed us to be able to keep that tax rate at a steady rate.
What do you think Circle Pines could improve on?
At this point, it's kind of a general answer, but communication and community outreach are always a big challenge for us. And I think that we've made some good strides in that. We've got our city surveys that go out, we have our emails, and yet some people, actually quite a few people, aren't really plugged into what's going on with the city. And that could be a good thing, because if things are going well, people don't have to worry about what's happening with the city. But at the same time, we'd like people to be engaged. We'd like them to be informed about what's going on. So one of the things that I've always tried to do is, if we have a special project for streets or something else like that, we'll send out our mailers to everybody like we're supposed to. But I like to go around and actually knock on doors and talk to people, because when folks get that face-to-face communication and they realize, oh, this is real, this isn't just a card I got in the mail, this is something that's going to impact me, that makes a big difference. And they're much more likely to show up for the hearings and get informed. So that's something that I will continue to do, because I think that's effective. And the more communication, the more engagement that we can have with our citizens, the better off we're going to be.
So you're running for mayor, you're unopposed. That's a slam dunk win, barring something really bizarre. But how do you keep the fire? You told me before the interview, yes, you're knocking on doors. Yes, you're doing the face-to-face, because you feel like that's what you need to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I tell folks, just because I'm unopposed, it doesn't mean that I don't do the work. You have to be able to get out there and get connected with people, and first of all, make them aware that there is an election, with an off-year election. Sometimes people don't know about that. And then also give them reasons to come out and vote. Talk about what's been going right with the city. Are there things that they need to see changed with the city? So yeah, it is very important to do that. I'm about 80% through my door knocking list right now. Right now I'm working through the part of Circle Pines that's north of Lake Drive. So if folks are watching this and you live over in West Road or Starlight or one of those places, Stardust, that's where I'll be coming through pretty soon. But you definitely don't just sit back because you think it's an easy win.
What's the feedback you're getting when you go face-to-face on these door knocks?
Overall, people are pretty happy. Most of the time, folks are either positive about what's happening with the city, or they'll say, I've got no complaints, which I think tells us that we're doing the right things. No one's taken a pitchfork to me yet, so so I don't think there's any burning issues out there where people are really upset. And like we were talking about earlier with, you look at relative to some other cities and tax rates and issues that they're dealing with, Circle Pines is kind of boring. We think boring is actually pretty good. We like to stay below the radar, and that lets people know that we're doing our job and that we're not flying off the handle or anything like that.
All right, there's going to be a pivot from the Centennial Fire Department to SBM now, and it sounds like that's going to be a win-win for everyone involved.
Yeah, it's going to be really huge for us. And we've had the Centennial Fire District for 40 years, so it's not an easy transition. We have the Centennial Fire District has a huge connection to the community, not only from firefighters showing up at people's doors, but also with all the other activities that they've done over time with schools and with Easter egg hunt and things like that, Santa parade that folks are real familiar with and everything. Those are the kinds of things that we are going to have to watch out for and try to keep that going as we transition to SBM. But yeah, we have been working with SBM for the last 3.5 years now. They've been providing leadership services to us. That's been super successful. When they came to us with a proposal to do full service for fire, that we looked at the numbers on that, and took us a little while because we had a short time frame to work that through, but I think we've gotten to a place where we've got a really good contract set up with them. And ultimately, we're going to end up having better service because we're going to have additional duty crews staffed at our station. So we've got a win there, and our actual prices that we're going to pay, our contract is going to drop by about 10%. So increased service, reduced cost, definitely a win-win on both of those sides. And like I mentioned before, staying plugged into the community is huge. The CFD identity is something that we're still working on with SBM. We want to make sure that we retain something within our stations, maybe within uniforms. We're not going to forget about our firefighters, and we want to make sure that we honor what they have done, because it's been incredible, everything they've been able to do for our community over the years. 2025
has been a historic year for Circle Pines because the city turned 75 years old. So I know there have been a lot of tributes and celebrations as you look to, say, the next 75 years. What's the vision you have for Circle Pines? A lot of growth, some growth, trying to keep it in check. How do you see it?
Yeah, as you know, Circle Pines is fully developed, so we're not going to be building out any more houses. In terms of growth, we're pretty much where we're at right now, which can be a good thing for us because it means that we avoid some of the controversies that you have with development. But I think the real challenges there are making sure that we can maintain a vibrant and diverse community, and that means that we need to have different generations within our communities, and we're actually going through some of that right now. We've mentioned earlier about how people like to move into Circle Pines and stay there a long, long time. A lot of those older folks are moving out now. We've got a lot of families moving in. Even on my street, we have way more kids than we did 5 or 10 years ago, and that's really fun to see. So I think it's important that we provide resources that will continue to bring in those kids, those families, continue to put money into our parks, make sure that everything is up to spec on that. We're actually going to be working on that next year. We've got some bonding that we're looking to do, which would put a lot of new refreshes into Carlac Park and into Baldwin Park and make those into essentially world-class parks for our citizens and probably for the surrounding areas as well. So I think that's really big. And then the other thing will be, we were talking about the infrastructure earlier on. We've put so much money into rebuilding our streets. We need to keep putting money into them to make sure that we keep them in good shape. Once we've got it, we don't want to lose it. And there was a time 30, 40 years ago where we lost sight of that, and we're not going to be doing that again.
I know you have connections to the Anoka County Blaine Airport. Tell us about how important that airport is to this North Metro area.
It's real interesting because people, oftentimes when they think about the airport, all that comes to mind is, well, I've got airplanes flying over my house and it's noisy. And that's true, that happens, but there is so much more to it than that. The airport actually hosts multiple businesses out there, from repair facilities to charter services. A lot of our businesses in the surrounding area actually use that airport for their personal transportation. So, for example, like Polaris, they've got flights. They'll fly up to War Road and back and forth, and so it's actually an economic driver for our entire area around here. So, yeah, there's a lot going on out there.
Is that airport going to grow, or is it basically what we see is what we're going to get moving forward?
It's going to grow from the perspective you'll probably have more businesses out there. You'll probably have more aircraft using it. The one big question that always comes up whenever we meet is the airport actually going to expand in terms of its size and its runway length and everything? Right now it's a 5,000-foot runway. If it was to expand even longer than that, it could accommodate larger aircraft, which could be a concern from a perspective of noise and whatnot. Currently, the Metropolitan Airports Commission has no plans to extend that runway. So from that perspective, it should be steady for at least the near future.
All right, this is your chance to tell the viewers why they should vote for Matt Percy for Circle Pines mayor.
Man, I'll just summarize what I was talking about before. Been in the community for a long time. I don't believe in surprises. I like to think predictability is a good thing for our citizens, both in terms of taxes and in terms of what they're going to be getting in return for their dollar. You're going to see me out there in the community a lot. If you haven't seen me already, I'll probably be at your doorstep pretty soon. And certainly will do whatever I can to try to keep people involved and make sure they understand what's happening with the city, because that's the best way for us to grow going forward.
Are you excited about the prospect of possibly being the next mayor of Circle Pines?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Dave Bartholomew has done a great job in elevating that position and making sure that it's super visible. And that's something that I'm hoping to continue going forward as well.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me.
All right. Very good. He's Matt Percy, running for mayor of Circle Pines. He's unopposed. This is Local Decision 2025.